You've had a rubbish day, stuff's happened, and just, what do you do? May seem obvious. Let's find out. Hello friends, here we are, back again. So, and subscribe, the usual, blah, blah, blah. Right, so, all the good things, subscribe, smash like, subscribe, etc. Big shout out to everyone, simple as that. Now, what do you do if things are kind of annoying you and getting on top of you and all that? Kind of similar to what I said the other day. One thing is to get all riled up and annoyed and almost revenge-like.
No, I'm gonna get that person back for wronging me, or I'm gonna make things right.
You get this anger and frustration and stuff like that. Now, the problem with that is it doesn't really help you, because the situation has happened, and it could be someone's cut you up in the car, or someone's wronged you at work. Your partner may have done something to annoy you, rightly or wrongly, but there's stuff that happens all the time, and how you react to that will determine basically how happy you are. So when it comes to those situations, along with the old E plus R equals O, event plus reaction equals outcome, which is amazing, one thing that is so important, and it's so important I've forgotten what it is. So stuff happens all the time, events are going to happen. You can't control events happening, that's just life, it happens. How you react to it is in your control. So how you react to the event will determine the outcome. E plus R equals O. So basically, I've talked about this many times, and there's loads of videos about it. But along with that is a hugely powerful phrase, a question, if you like, that I have mentioned before, but I want to reiterate again today, because it really does kind of sum up that whole idea of when you get wronged and what you should do. And that statement is, would you rather be happy or right? If you just have a think about that question, it's an interesting one, because so often, I'm super guilty of having done this many times. I like to think I'm in a much better place now and a much different person now to I used to be, and how I kind of go about things. But it's so easy and so common for you to argue the point. Someone says this and they're wrong. There's no denying it, they're wrong. But the arguing against that of, no, you're wrong because blah, blah, blah. No, that's wrong because of this, that and the other. That constant sort of hammering that point home of how they're wrong just sort of brings up this negative energy and this just aggravated situation. The result being that nobody's happy. You're not happy because you're like trying to make this big point that how right you are and how wrong the other person is. They're not happy because you're kind of arguing against their point of view. Who wins? Nobody. What's the point? They're still thinking that thing and you're still thinking your thing. Ultimately, who's right and who's wrong is almost lost in the whole point of the argument. And so you both end up unhappy or angry or fighting, you know, just horrible situation, bad energy. But the fundamental thing is still the same. That person thinks A, you think B. You may be right, you may be wrong. Doesn't matter, because you've got this horrible energy and atmosphere, and you might lose a friend, you might lose a partner because of it, because it just gets so kind of trying to prove a point. So the whole idea of would you rather be right or happy, if you think about that, you can shout to the end of the earth, proving your point, making sure that everybody, especially that person, knows that you're right. What outcome? Nothing. Annoyed. Or you can just think, okay, let it go and be happy. You arguing the point to make sure they know you're right probably, in reality, won't change their mind and get them thinking like you. Therefore, you'll have to hammer it home so much, f***ing you off, f***ing them off. And they're still probably thinking that they're right. But you've now angered the whole situation. Now, I'm not saying be an absolute pushover and accept everything that everyone else says. No. What I'm saying is accept the situation for what it is. That person thinks that. They may be wrong. They may be completely wrong. But just let it go. Okay, fine. That's your opinion. That's your thoughts. Fine. And done. You feel you need to make that point and prove that you're so right. But who cares? Who cares if you're right? They don't. Why do you care if you're right? You're not changing the situation at all. You're just arguing the point. This happens all the time in relationships, where partner will argue with the other partner over some ridiculously reason. And it's just this kind of aggro and argument and trying to make sure that the other person knows that you're right.
Now I'm right because this and this.
Really? Seriously? Get a fucking life. You literally get a fucking life. Because what are you trying to achieve? Why are you trying to make sure they know you're right? Who gives a f***? It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. Who cares? It's not going to change the situation. Why create this horrible, angry argument over proving that you're right? Just be like Elsa. Just let it go, for fuck's sake. It really doesn't matter. I said it's not about laying down and accepting everything. That's not what I'm saying. When someone has done you wrong, you can still stand up for yourself. You can still make the point that you're putting your case forward, but arguing the point so they know that you're right, no. You can be happy or you can be right. If you're in quite a serious situation and there could be huge amounts of money involved, something like that, you might think that it's, I have to there hammer the point. No, even then. I'll give you an example. A few years ago, I used to own a flat or an apartment that I used to rent out. And the tenant rented this flat loads of years. Fine, always paid the rent, no problem. He said he couldn't pay the rent for a month, no problem. I was very, very too lenient. Anyway, eventually it turned out that he didn't pay rent for about 18 months, almost 2 years, essentially, which is ridiculous. In that time, I wasn't just laying down accepting it, I was trying to evict him. And all the legal battles and hassle and all that. So I wasn't just laying down taking it. But at the end, I got him evicted. That was the end of that. But he still owed me something like, and still owes me, something like £18,000. So many people have said to me, well, take him to court, sue him. And yes, I could do that. One, I know he hasn't got any money, so if I did go through all of the hassle of taking him to court, all of the expense, all of that, I'm not going to get a cheque for £18,000 at all. I might get, if anything, a few pounds per month, which is almost irrelevant. And more so, it's all of the hassle and the stress and the upset of all the court battle and all that stuff and dredging all that up again. I just think, no, I don't want that. I'm right. I'm in the right here. I've got him out. I sold the property. Done. It's finished. To kind of dig that up again, because I'll be right, trust me, I could do with the money. I would very much want that money. But I know the amount of hassle and upset and stress and all that, and cost, etc., compared to the outcome, I weighed it up. No, I'd rather be happy than right. And you may think, well, that's ridiculous. Maybe it is ridiculous, but happy. I'd rather be happy than right. Yes, there's a ton of money involved, but at what cost to get that money? Upset, stress, unhappiness.
Yeah, I won. Woo.
I'd rather be happy than right. And that's a prime example of a situation. Now, you may agree, you may not agree with that. It's a very, very subjective thing. That's not the same outcome that everyone would do, and that's not the point of this. The point is to illustrate that even when the stakes are really high, I believe it's better to take that angle of action, as in to be happy than right, than just pursue it to make sure and hammer the point home that you're right, because ultimately being right doesn't matter. That's more of an ego thing. It really doesn't matter. If you let your ego kind of control stuff like this, you're not going to be in a very good position after a while. It's much better to just, accept the situation.
Okay, I'm right.
You know you're right. So why does it matter that you prove it to someone else? It doesn't matter. It seriously doesn't matter. Just, know that you're right. Know it. Go with what you think and be happy. Don't hammer the point home. It's not worth it. There's no upside, there's no benefit to it, and ultimately you're going to lead a much happier life and be much more content if you just let stuff go. If you know that you've done nothing wrong, you've acted honestly and with integrity, and other people think otherwise, it really doesn't matter. Who cares? It's about what's inside here that matters. And if you've done the right thing and you are at peace with that, then everything else, everyone else. So that's all I've got time for today. Kind of a bit of a slightly aggy, but not. And the idea is just to let it go and be comfortable and happy with your own self. If you did get some value and enjoyed this, as always, smash that like button so it's nice and blue. And if you haven't already, I would really appreciate if you would subscribe. I will put this up somewhere when I work out how to do this. And comment below. Have you had situations where you've got that choice of being right or happy, and which road have you taken? Have you taken the I'm going to be right or I just want to be happy? Trust me, try the I'm going to be happy route and it'll be much, much better. Thank you for coming along and watching and joining me, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye. Thanks again for watching, guys. I really, really do appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do so down here, and check out my other video down here. And remember, live your best life and profit from that passion. See you next time. Bye-bye.